And you've been watching a live press conference from the state capitol there in Lansing, a very interesting turn of events in response to the uptick in cases that we've seen here in Michigan. There's going to be new bias training for healthcare professionals. That's something that was also discussed as we look to whether or not we're going to go forward or backwards when it comes to the phases. Our complete coverage of what just happened there continues on clickondetroit.com and on Local 4 News at noon, which starts right now.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
If we let our guard down, we could see a rapid increase in cases and deaths here in Michigan.
Governor Whitmer issuing a very stern warning to everyone to wear their mask while in public spaces indoors to try and slow the spread of coronavirus. That story, of course, topping our news at noon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Evrod Cassimy. It was just a few moments ago at that press briefing, Governor Whitmer stressed the importance of wearing a mask in public, especially indoors, as the number of coronavirus cases, as you've seen, has increased over the last few weeks. She called it very concerning. So far, there's a total of over 67,000 cases all across the state, with 610 new cases in just the past 24 hours. Now, the death toll from the virus currently sits at more than 6,000, with 10 lives lost in the last day. Local 4's Hank Winchester joins us now live with more on this story. And Hank, we are hearing from the governor and what she has to say. Hank?
Yeah, Evrod, that is right. Not only the governor, but also the lieutenant governor. And the two main topics coming out of this very long press event today was the importance of wearing a mask out in public. We're going to get into that, and also implicit bias training for healthcare workers throughout the state of Michigan. Let's begin with the conversation regarding the mask. The governor making it clear that she believes and healthcare workers believe that masks can save lives, protecting yourself and also others that you come in contact with. She talked about the importance of wearing a mask in public spaces. Obviously, if you make your way into a store or to a restaurant. She also talked about the possibility of tightening restrictions, taking steps, a step further, rather, if it is necessary, if she sees the case count go up. Right now, let's hear from the governor regarding that topic.
Right now, the law requires that anyone in an enclosed public space has to wear a mask, and that means every store you're going into. And we are reviewing that requirement and considering whether or not we need to take this a step further to strengthen compliance, because we cannot let our guard down. We cannot afford to play fast and loose with the rules.
The governor and the lieutenant governor then shifting gears and talking about how COVID-19 has been especially difficult for those in the African-American community or those of other ethnic groups. That's why the governor signing this new executive order today, developing rules to require implicit bias training for healthcare workers across the state of Michigan. We had an opportunity to hear from the lieutenant governor. Not only did he talk about the need for that training, but also how COVID-19 has personally affected his family, his friends, and so many others in the African-American community.
People who pass away are not numbers. They're stories. They're husbands, wives, sisters, brothers, nieces, nephews, friends, colleagues. Their legacies were cut short. But there's something that we can do about it, that we can work in their name. When Black people have been disproportionately impacted by racial disparities for generations, but we can't solve this discrimination overnight. We do, however, have a responsibility to act right now.
So the big headlines out of this event today, Evrod, the masks, the governor stressing the importance for those. She talked about the concern that she had seeing video from last week with groups of people, young people celebrating in western Michigan on a lake. She had big concern about big crowds at bars. She says if the numbers uptick, we could see some tighter restrictions here in the state of Michigan. The other part of the element today regarding that implicit bias training, they want to make sure that healthcare workers have a full understanding of how this affects the African-American community, much different here in the state of Michigan and especially within the city of Detroit. This is something that we're going to continue to follow throughout the day. We'll have much more today beginning live at 4 o'clock. For now, Evrod, back to you.
All right. You also touched on the fact that contact tracing was also very important. They're going to be working extra hard on that as well. Hank, thank you. We do want to go now to Dr. Frank McGeorge. He joins us live with more reaction to Governor Whitmer's press briefing just now. And Dr. McGeorge, first I want to ask you if you were surprised or not that the governor didn't issue new restrictions, knowing that our cases have increased significantly, and she called it concerning.
Well, Evrod, I'm not really surprised. I think she's being very thoughtful about doing something that would be very painful for the state to endure again. The governor focused on a couple of things that I've been watching carefully. She highlighted the increase in confirmed cases that we've seen recently, as well as the lack of distancing and mask use, especially by young people over the 4th of July holiday. Now, the implied message, and then ultimately the clear message, was if we don't begin to see a decrease in cases, she would roll back our reopening. But to be clear, we really need to keep our distance, wear face coverings, and pay attention to hygiene to tamp down the case increases and remain on the path to continued reopening. Now, of course, the other announcement regarding an executive order to include implicit bias training in healthcare licensing was also really important. COVID-19 highlighted a very important gap in the care delivered to minorities, not just in Michigan, but frankly across the United States. And the sooner we educate everyone, the better. Back to you.
All righty, Dr. McGeorge reporting live for us this afternoon. Of course, we'll have much more on the latest update on coronavirus here in Michigan a little bit later on Local 4 News at 4. Also breaking this afternoon, the Supreme Court rules against President Trump, saying that he might have to turn over his tax returns. Alice Barr is in Washington with the late-breaking details.
In a pivotal decision today, the Supreme Court ruling 7-2 that President Trump is not immune to the grand jury process. This stems from the case of a New York prosecutor seeking the president's financial records for an investigation into payments made to 2 women who claim they had affairs with him, which the president denies. But the records won't automatically be released. The case now goes back down to the trial court, where the president's legal team has to come up with a reason to block releasing the records that would apply to anyone else. They can't just say he's immune because he's president. The justices also sent a separate case back down to the lower courts, this one regarding subpoenas from 3 House committees for several years' worth of President Trump's business records from his accounting firm and 2 banks. This one is partly a response to claims by the president's former lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, who said his old boss would inflate or deflate his assets to serve his own purposes. House Democrats also want to know whether the president had any financial dealings with Russia before taking office. That's something President Trump has frequently denied. The decisions today mean that these cases will almost certainly not be decided before the election, because now they'll be going down to the lower courts and from there can be appealed again. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, still to come here at noon, a search underway for missing Glee star Naya Rivera after her son is found alone on a boat. We'll have the latest on the investigation next.